In the face of relentless Russian aggression, Ukraine is transforming the landscape of modern warfare. Rather than merely surviving, Ukraine is adapting, innovating, and redefining the battlefield. Picture an army that, despite being outnumbered and outgunned, continues to push back with revolutionary tactics, cutting-edge technologies, and an indomitable spirit that inspires the world. What if I told you that the future of warfare is being shaped right now, in real time, on Ukrainian soil? Central to this evolution is Ukraine's ability to leverage artificial intelligence, outsmart electronic warfare, and navigate severe challenges, sending shockwaves through military strategies globally. David Petraeus, a former U.S. Army general and CIA director, recently highlighted the remarkable advancements within Ukraine's defense forces.
Now, I was told last night by someone at a dinner with the Minister of Strategic Industries that their objective is multiples of that. I don't want to get more specific than that, but that is just incredible. And then the way all of this is employed, the command and control, the how AI enables it in some cases, the how you navigate in a GPS-denied environment and against electronic warfare that in which the Russians have significant capabilities. All of this is hugely impressive and very important as a factor in determining the way forward. Of course,
building on their remarkable technological advancements and strategic innovations, another key factor in Ukraine's success is their enhancement of force generation. Despite facing overwhelming challenges in manpower and economic capacity, Ukraine is discovering new ways to mount a resistance. Let's explore how Ukraine is tackling these obstacles through legislative and military reforms.
another big issue is Ukrainian force generation. Ukraine, after quite an emotional debate itself in the Rada in your parliament, just as we had an emotional debate in the House of Representatives, did resolve the conscription law, changed it, made some adjustments to it, reduced the age of conscription, closed some loopholes, etc. And over recent months, Ukraine has now been ramping up the ability to recruit, train, and equip, which is, again, very, very significant. And that's a huge factor going forward. Ukraine, yes, it is heavily outnumbered, 4, maybe 5 to 1 in manpower, and in economic terms, 10 or more to 1, maybe 10 to 15 to 1. So it has to compensate, and is doing it with technology, throwing thousands of drones, again, at the Russians every single day, taking the fight to the Russians, using drones to go after refineries. Taken out a modest percentage of the actual refinery capability, some of the storage, airfields, other critical infrastructure that helps Russia stay in this fight the way that they have.
Transitioning from General Petraeus' in-depth analysis of modern warfare and the strategic significance of advanced weapon systems like the Javelins, let's examine the latest developments in the ongoing Russian-Ukrainian war. This brutal and dynamic conflict showcases Ukraine's resilience as it continues to launch targeted strikes against Russian logistics and infrastructure. These actions are crucial in shaping the war's trajectory, with both sides grappling with intense military engagements, shifting strategies, and the struggle for control over vital regions. In recent news, Ukraine delivered a significant blow to Russia's naval capabilities in Crimea when a major oil depot at the port of Foch caught fire, sending thick plumes of smoke into the sky as at least 2 large oil tanks burned. This facility is essential for the Russian Navy, providing fuel for ships operating in the Black Sea. The impact of this strike is compounded by its timing, coinciding with Vladimir Putin's recent 72nd birthday, amid ongoing rumors about his health. These challenges to Russia's war capabilities demonstrate Ukraine's continued ability to find opportunities to undermine Russian operations. One noteworthy incident involves the Admiral Makarov, one of Russia's key ships, which suffered severe engine failure that appears to be the result of deliberate sabotage. A tiny hole was drilled into one of the ship's pistons, causing excess pressure to build up and allowing coolant to flood the engine, rendering it inoperable. While it remains unclear whether this was orchestrated by Ukrainian operatives or disgruntled personnel, the outcome is evident. Russia has lost a vital naval asset, at least for the foreseeable future. This damage forces the ship into long-term maintenance, significantly limiting Russia's naval presence in the Black Sea. Such incidents underscore the vulnerability of Russian military assets, even in regions like Crimea, far from the immediate front lines. By targeting key vessels within Russia's fleet, Ukraine continues to erode Russia's capacity to project power across the Black Sea. Now let's turn our focus to the front lines, where fierce fighting continues across several regions in Zaporizhzhia Oblast. Russian forces claim to have crossed the Dnipro River and advanced into the village of Plav, but there is no verified evidence to support these assertions. Ukrainian officials and military analysts remain skeptical, awaiting more substantial proof, such as drone footage, to confirm the extent of any Russian advances. Even if Russian forces have crossed the river, maintaining such positions in Plav would be incredibly challenging due to logistical issues in resupplying troops in this area, reminiscent of Ukraine's past difficulties during similar operations. Meanwhile, in Lyman, heavy fighting has intensified, with Russian forces making incremental gains into Ukrainian positions. However, the battle remains fluid as Ukrainian forces are determined to hold their ground, facing a precarious situation as Russian troops attempt to expand their control. Another area of concern is the eastern Donetsk region, particularly around Kryvka, where Russian forces are working to encircle Ukrainian defenders. They have occupied several villages, such as Turuiv, and are aiming to push further south, seemingly attempting to cut off critical supply routes and gain a tactical advantage. While Ukrainian defenses are under immense pressure, the construction of multiple defense lines is expected to slow the Russian advance. However, these defensive positions, although effective in stalling the enemy, lack the robustness and interconnectedness of some of Ukraine's southern defenses, particularly around key locations like Kherson and Zaporizhzhia. Should Russia break through these lines, they could threaten deeper into Ukrainian-held territory, including vital crossroads near Pavlohrad. However, the cost of these Russian advances has been extraordinary. Russia has incurred staggering losses, especially in the Avdiivka direction. According to estimates by the Institute for the Study of War, since the offensive began over a year ago, Russian forces have lost at least 1,830 military vehicles, including 539 tanks, and over 1,000 armored personnel carriers. These losses, concentrated in just one part of the front, illustrate the immense human and material toll Russia is paying for its efforts in Ukraine. Despite these sacrifices, Russian progress remains slow, with only about 1,000 square kilometers gained, an area Ukraine managed to recapture during just a few days of counteroffensive operations in Kharkiv last year. In contrast, Ukraine has achieved tactical successes, particularly in the southern Zaporizhzhia region, where Ukrainian forces have repelled Russian advances with significantly fewer losses compared to previous counteroffensive efforts in 2022. While these gains may be limited in scope, they are crucial for maintaining pressure on Russian forces and disrupting their plans for a wider push into Ukrainian-held territory. Furthermore, Ukraine has begun constructing new defense lines in strategic areas like Pavlohrad to prevent further Russian advances. Although these lines are not yet as robust as desired, such defensive preparations are essential for Ukraine to continue holding its ground. The latest developments in the Russian-Ukrainian war underscore that this conflict is increasingly becoming a war of attrition. While Ukraine continues to disrupt Russian logistics and inflict significant material losses, Russia is still able to muster substantial resources, albeit at great cost. Both sides are digging in for a prolonged struggle, characterized by shifting front lines, strategic strikes, and ongoing military engagements that will shape the next phases of the conflict. As the situation remains fluid, Ukraine's resilience, coupled with its ability to strike deep into Russian logistics and infrastructure, demonstrates that this war is far from over. As the conflict continues to evolve, the world is watching closely to see how each side adapts to the ongoing challenges of modern warfare.